Hello, my name is Fred Jones. I'm the director of the Division for the Blind and Visually Impaired. I want to welcome everyone who's watching this video. This is a video that actually has a dual purpose to explain the different roles DBVI has in the Pathways to Partnership project. The first role is that the Division for the Blind and Visually Impaired is the lead agency for the P2P grant. And we are also a vocational rehabilitation agency for people who are blind and visually impaired. So let me start with our mission as a division for the blind and visually impaired, and then I'll talk about our role in the Pathways to Partnership. So the mission of DBVI is helping people of all ages who are blind and visually impaired reach their goals for economic independence, self-reliance, social integration. We like our participants also to have informed choice and to reach their potential for their careers and independence. We'll talk a little more detail about that later in this video. And now I'm going to switch to our second role, and a really important role, as the lead agency in the Pathways to Partnership grant. And you might ask yourself, why is the Division for the Blind the lead agency? And the answer is that we are a vocational rehabilitation agency, and it was in the application that a voc rehab agency could apply for this opportunity. And I look at it as an opportunity for Vermont, all of Vermont students. The money has been granted to us as a state to help students with disabilities transition into the world of work. And we're very excited about that. And even though we're the lead agency, it's all about the partnership and it's all about Vermont students. And so our role in this is very clearly outlined in the overview that we've done in the other YouTube video. And I want to encourage everybody to go to that YouTube video for the P2P overview. And in there, you'll see sort of what the goals of the project are, what what DBVI will be doing to provide leadership and staff for the dedicated staff for the project. And so rather than go into that detail now, I want to encourage everybody, please, before you do anything else, watch that overview. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mackenzie, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the Division for the Blind and the services we will provide to students.
Thanks, Fred. My name is Mackenzie Floyd. I'm the DBVI program manager and a vocational rehabilitation counselor based out of our Springfield office. So as Fred said, I'm just going to give a brief overview of the role of the vocational rehabilitation counselor at DBVI. So DBVI has 4 voc rehab counselors statewide who each manage a caseload that includes a combination of students and adults. And the role of this position is really to support students to develop their post-school goals as they transition from high school to adult life. We do this, in many different ways, but we always say that we like to build a robust and collaborative team around each student that we support. And so some of these services may look like providing counseling and guidance directly to the student, collaborating with IEP teams and educational partners, evaluating the student for assistive technology and other accommodations that will prepare them for their post-school goals, and connecting students to partners that will help the student gain the necessary vocational skills and help them also advance their independent living skills. So I'm going to pass it off to Taya, who's going to dive a little bit deeper into our transition services.
Great. Thank you, Mackenzie. Hello, everyone. My name is Taya Tar. I'm the assistant director and a vocational rehabilitation counselor in the Burlington office. I'm going to provide some more information on how we collaborate with the teachers of the visually impaired. So DBVI has a really wonderful relationship with the Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. They are a nonprofit organization that provides children and adult services throughout the state of Vermont. There are about 14 teachers of the visually impaired that serve all students that are blind or visually impaired in all the schools. At the beginning of every year, we have a really important meeting with the Director of Children's Services to review the students that will be turning 14 years old that year and become eligible for our vocational rehabilitation services. The teachers of the visually impaired is really our main access point to the students and family. And they're really the liaisons with the schools. They work with the students daily and invite us to the IEP and 504 meetings to start the discussion of DBVI's transition services, because it can definitely be a little overwhelming for the family and students to have all this information at once. We communicate regularly with the teachers of the visually impaired throughout the school year and attend multiple meetings with them. I would also like to discuss another important meeting that we have with the teachers of the visually impaired, and that is at the end of the summer. The VR counselor, our youth facilitator, and the teachers of the visually impaired will meet to review how the student progressed over the summer in our youth program called Learn, Earn, and Prosper. This helps us identify areas of strengths and areas to improve in our build upon in the upcoming school year. So it's really a team effort and a team approach on how we work with our students and families. And then I will pass this off to Callan to discuss the LEAP program.
Thanks, Taya. So my name is Callan Modrak, and I manage our transition program. As Taya said, it's called LEAP, which stands for Learn, Earn, and Prosper. We provide pre-employment transitional services for students starting at the age of 14. We work really closely with teachers of the visually impaired and VR counselors to identify and customize programs for students that meet them at their skill level, their interest, their schedule. We try to customize these programs to meet them where they're at that moment in time. We also invite families into this process, which can look different for different students and families. Sometimes it means mom is bringing cupcakes to one of our in-person events, or another family member might be part of a presentation we're doing on disability disclosure. We also try to create a sense of belonging for students in our programming, which includes a lot of peer-to-peer contact for students, as well as mentoring opportunities with students that are slightly older than them, who are blind or visually impaired and maybe in college or in their career. Again, when trying to meet students where we're at, we have different access points. So LEAP provides both virtual and in-person opportunities to students. And for students who live rurally, the virtual access points are really important when transportation is often a barrier for families, or they're not sure that they want to join this program in person. So virtual is the first step for them to access these pre-ed services. I want to share a story about a student briefly, so we can share at DBVI what success looks like to us for a student. We had a young man about 2 years ago engage with the LEAP program who was having some mental health challenges, some challenges at home with his family, and challenges at school. And so our goal was, how do we get the student to engage in programming in a way that felt safe for him, that felt safe for his family, and that felt successful to him, and that grew his confidence. So we worked really closely with his VR counselor, his DBVI counselor, his teacher of the visually impaired, his school, and his family to figure out what was the right access point for this student. 2 years later, I'm very proud to say that about 2 weeks ago, he had a meeting with his team, which he led because he decided how he wanted to access programming this summer. And his goal was to access our in-person 3-week program that we have over the summer. And he laid out the parameters of how he would be in this program, what the structure would be for him to be successful in our 3-week overnight program. His school was there, his DBVI counselor was there, our team was there to ensure that everyone agreed to this structure and that this would allow the student to be successful. We're moving forward with that plan, but that is a sign of success for us because the student made that plan himself. He understood what he needed, and he brought that to his team. So that's where we try to get to all of our students, that they feel empowered, they know what their goals are, they know where they want to get, and they can tell us how we can help them get there. Okay, I'm going to pass it back off to Taya to close us out.
Thank you, Callan. That's a great success story. So for just to conclude, referrals for students that are blind or visually impaired can be sent directly to DBVI or through the teacher of the visually impaired that's already engaged with the students, or reaching out to the Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired if a teacher of the visually impaired is not engaged yet. So there's no wrong door. Also, please check out the Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired video on YouTube for additional information and the services that they provide to students. And please check out the additional resources on our youth program that we'll include in the notes of this video. And once again, DBVI, looks forward to providing pre-employment transition services to blind or visually impaired students in your schools. Thank you.